In the history of anime, there have been moments that changed everything. Moments where a character reaches beyond their limit, beyond everything they thought was possible, and becomes something the world had never seen before. Golden hair, teal eyes, energy that cracks the sky and shakes the earth. Super Saiyan, the most iconic transformation in anime history. And then there's this guy. What would happen if the man with no limits somehow, impossibly, inexplicably, went Super Saiyan? Today we find out. It started, as many things do in the Dragon Ball universe, with science that probably shouldn't have been attempted. Bulma, genius, billionaire, woman who once reverse-engineered alien technology in an afternoon, had been working on a theory. If Ki, the life energy that powers every Z fighter's transformation, could be artificially transferred between dimensions, what would happen if a being with no measurable power ceiling absorbed it? Nobody had tested this because nobody had ever found a being with no measurable power ceiling before. Until Saitama showed up. Bulma explained the experiment. The potential, the science, the cosmic implications. Saitama said, "Will it make fights more interesting?" Bulma paused. "Possibly." Saitama shrugged. "Okay." Vegeta said nothing. He just turned slightly so that he was facing the experiment at a 45-degree angle instead of directly away from it. For Vegeta, this was enthusiastic participation. The process was straightforward in theory. Goku, as the most experienced Super Saiyan, would serve as the source. He would channel his Super Saiyan energy through Bulma's dimensional transfer array, which would then direct it into Saitama. Simple, clean, almost certainly not dangerous. Goku transformed. The energy began flowing. The monitors spiked, then kept going, then went past the maximum reading. Then the maximum reading display broke. Bulma said. This was the scientific equivalent of screaming. Saitama, for his part, said it felt kind of tingly, like when your foot falls asleep, but your whole body. The monitors showed enough energy to destroy a small moon entering him. He described it as tingly. Vegeta made a sound that was technically not a word, but communicated a great deal. And then something happened that no piece of scientific equipment in any universe was prepared to measure. Saitama's body, which had already broken every known limit, absorbed the Super Saiyan Ki, and then kept absorbing. The Ki didn't transform in the way it transforms a Saiyan. Saions transform because they hit their limit and break through it. They have a ceiling and they shatter it. Saitama has no ceiling to shatter, so the energy didn't trigger a breakthrough. It just merged. When the light cleared, everyone in the room stared. Goku's jaw dropped. Piccolo took 3 involuntary steps backward. Bulma made a sound like a keyboard being sat on. And Vegeta said nothing for 11 seconds. Then, his hair is still not there. Saitama looked at his reflection in a nearby monitor. He said. Still bald. A beat. At least the aura's kind of cool. Vegeta challenged Saitama immediately. This surprised nobody. Vegeta challenges everything immediately. It's his primary personality trait. But this time, for the first time, Vegeta had a very specific reason beyond pride. He needed to know if the Saiyan transformation energy had merged with a limitless being. What exactly had been created? The answer came quickly. Saitama watched it coming. The golden aura around him pulsed once. He raised one hand. The Gallic gun, powered by Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta at full charge, was stopped by Saitama's open palm. Like closing a door. That one was more tingly than the machine, Saitama said. Vegeta sat down in the dirt. He sat there for a while. Then, very quietly, so quietly that only Saitama could hear, he said, "Are you actually limitless?" It wasn't a question. It was a man arriving at a conclusion he'd been avoiding. "I don't know," Saitama said honestly. "I've never found a limit." Another long silence. Then Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, the proudest being in any universe, nodded once. Very slowly. HN, which, from Vegeta, meant, "I accept this. I do not like it, but I accept it." Saitama never figured out how to turn the golden aura off. It just stayed. A permanent side effect of absorbing more Super Saiyan energy that should be possible to absorb. He didn't mind. It made him slightly more visible at night, which was useful when he forgot his flashlight. Goku asked him later, after the experiment, after the fight, after Vegeta had been quietly sitting alone for 2 hours, whether he felt any different, any stronger, any more alive, any closer to the thrill he'd been chasing since the day his own limits broke. Saitama thought for a long moment. Kind of, he said. Goku looked at him. Yeah. The aura's warm, Saitama said. Like wearing a jacket. It's nice. And somewhere in a universe full of power levels and transformations and limits being shattered on a weekly basis. The man with no limits found something new. Not a fight he couldn't win. Just warmth. That was enough. Midnight. Here's the truth about Saitama that nobody talks about. Every character in Dragon Ball fights to reach their limit and break it. That golden light means they hit a ceiling and shattered it. Saitama has no ceiling, which means that golden light. It didn't transform him. It just settled in. Like it finally found somewhere it could stay forever. 022. Vegeta trained decades for Super Saiyan Blue. Saitama got it on a Tuesday and still went bald. Faced with tears of joy. 030. If this video broke your brain, even a little bit, smash that like button. Subscribe right now because Saitama versus Naruto and Saitama versus Ichigo are coming, and trust me, you do not want to miss them. 046. But before all of that, drop a comment. Tell me one thing. Do you think Saitama finally felt something today? I'll see you in the next one. Glowing Star.